wasn't one informant in the Bonanno made member in the Bonanno family from Lucky Luciano's formation of the commission all the way to 2000, I think in 2, correct?
Yeah, October 2002, you get your first cooperators that had positions, high positions. You had Cantarella and Copa. Then you had Joe
Well, I want to
D'Amico
get there. I
after
want to get
that.
there. Don't jump ahead if you don't mind, but I want to get there. Okay. So you had 72 years essentially of zero cooperators, correct?
Yeah, and like from 2002 to 2005, you're talking about 15 guys. About 10 of them with higher up positions.
Okay, so let's go through that roll. Let's go through top line. We don't need to go through each one. So my understanding through my research, the first role was Frank Copa, correct?
Yeah.
Tell us about Frank, please.
Well, Frank was involved in the Sonny Black murder, but he wasn't looking at a lot of time. He was in Fort Dix, and they're actually giving him a kite while he was out on the street, Joe Messina, that this guy might flip. They send him out that because he was acting really fucking weird. And he got indicted on the second round of the indictment I was on. So there was 14 people on my indictment, and I think another 20 came in. But the higher ups on that indictment were them two and Willie Ravello, who happened to be a captain himself. He didn't flip. And them two came in, and they flipped in 2 weeks.
Okay, so hold on. This is important because we talked about earlier about how he built the Brigada, right? He brought in his own people, so maybe some nepotism, strategically made some decisions.
Well, the most important thing to know about those two was this.
Yeah.
One put Joe Messina in the murder, okay? And even though Salvatore was involved like 7, and the other guy, the Canarella guy, puts Salvatore in 2 murders.
Well, hold on, we're going to get there.
That's the wild card there, okay?
So hold on, number two. So we had Frank Copa. But before we get there, what I'm trying to get at is I really want to unpack this. Like I said, Frank, I love the business end and the strategy of how Cosa Nostra operates. His philosophy was, I want money guys. I want to be the new Cosa Nostra. I want to be more business friendly. I want to be like the West Side, right? So Copa was a money guy. Walk us a little bit about him. I think he was a big money guy, correct?
Yeah, it was a real big money guy. He was at every aspect of the mob as far as putting money out and stuff like that. But he also was he liked to fuck around with the stock market too. So he was up there in money, and he was perfect for Joe. Him and Canarella were that's what he wanted. He wanted them 2 guys that are never going to contest him or whatever. And he had them, and they were the first 2 to flip.
So Canarella flipped, and Rich Canarella, for those who don't know, was also a captain in the Bonanno family, a big money guy. These guys were making millions. Like I said, I mean, God, I'll probably have to do a whole unpacking. The strategy Joe Messina set forth was like trying to mix old and new Cosa Nostra, old school where we wanted you to commit a murder, we wanted you to be involved, we wanted you to be a street guy, but yet we're going to take these big money guys, we're going to make them, and not only make them, but we're going to make them captains because you're going to bring in big money. The problem with that is you're going against kind of the grain in a sense where you might bring money, but then you're better off keeping them money guys and keeping them separate. Let them bring in money. Let the hitters do their job. So give us how Messina screwed up by having like businessmen on hits almost. You know what I mean?
Well, it sounded like a good idea at the time, but I think when we look at the Copa thing and the Canarella, there was 2 aspects there. His kid had gotten indicted, and so did his wife, Canarella's wife.
Really?
Yeah, she got indicted in that indictment, and it was a tough one. It was his kid and his wife and him, so they kind of had him under pressure.
But unlike Copa, he was facing serious time.
He was facing 2 murders, yeah, and Jerry Shagel was his lawyer. He was ready, and then I guess after 2 weeks he asked me if I made bail. I remember that. He goes, you got. I said, yeah, I got. I'm up here with 1 body. He goes, yeah, I got 2. He goes, did they give you bail? I said no, and it was kind of like he turned into like a deflated balloon.